Efendim hepinize merhabalar. Artech'in oyunlarına Artech TV hoş geldiniz. Sevgili YouTube nasılsınız? Keyifler nasıl? Karşınızda Stanley Parable biliyorsunuz. Devil May Cry serimiz bitti. Onun boşluğunu doldurmak için birkaç tane oyun var planımda. Bunlardan bir tanesi de Stanley Parable'da. Bu oyun eski bir oyun aslında biraz bakarsanız. YouTube'da çok meşhur olmuş bir oyun. 4-5 sene önce yanlış hatırlamıyorsam, hatta 6 sene de olabilir, bayağı oynanıyordu. O zamanlar oynayan insanlardan izlediğim kadarıyla çok sevmemiştim. Sonra sevmeye başladığım tarafları olduğu zaman da birkaç yerden gördüm. Artık oynamama gerek yok demiştim. Ama bu deneyimimi tadımlamak istiyorum. Eee, Bu garip bir oyun. Uzunca bir seri değil. Sıkılana kadar oynayacağınız bir oyun. Farklı farklı sonları olan artık yüzlerce mi onlarca mı ne kadar farklı sonu var bilmiyorum. Hepsini açma gibi bir niyetim yok. Sadece oyundan keyif alabilirsem aldığım kadarıyla oynayacağız ve YouTube'a gelecek oyun. Twitch TV/artech4'te canlı yayın adresimizdeyiz efendim. Hepinizi canlı yayınlara bekliyorum sevgili YouTube. Hadi başlayalım. Oyun zaten kendini anlatacaktır. Anlatmazsa ben size anlatacağım oyunun nasıl bir şey olduğunu bilmeyenler için. Ve ayrıca oyun şu an Epic Games'te bedava, ücretsiz bir hafta boyunca. Siz de Epic Games Store'a üye olup oyunu ücretsiz alabilirsiniz. Sevdiyseniz, hoşunuza gittiyse efendim. Ayrıca Watch Dogs da ücretsiz veriliyor. Epic Games'te, haberiniz olsun. Watch Dogs güzel bir oyundur. Zamanında ilk çıktığında oynamıştım. Deli gibi beklediğim. Hatta onun için sistem yaptığım bir oyun diyebilirim. Yani loading biraz uzun değil mi be?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Altyazıyı açmadım ya.
Stanley worked for a company in
Çok hoşuma gidiyor lan klavye sesi. Orgazm oluyorum klavye sesine. Abi çok güzel şu klavye sesi ya. Bayılıyorum abi. Gamerlık böyle bir şey, lanet olsun, seviyoruz. Aleykümselam Ozetnis, hoş geldin. Yazılar kapalı, sadece alt yazı, tüm yazılar. Sadece alt yazı olsun. Türkçe alt yazı yok mu? Var. Hoşuma gidiyor ya. Oo 5 bir dakika, benim kulaklığım 5+1. 5+1 ver bana. İşte bu. Oyun restart gerekiyormuş. Restart yapıyor. Evet. Hazır mıyız? Oyun ekranı niye gelmedi? Böyle yapalım. Okay. Let's go. Buradan alalım.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders
Adam tekeriyle basıyor lan tuşlara. Oyunun konusunu açıklıyor zaten şu an. İzlersen anlarsın.
And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Sağ solu kurcalayabiliyor muyuz? Hemen sağ solu kurcalayalım. Bir FPS kaybı yok değil mi? Ozretnis. Görüntü rahatsız etmiyor herhalde. Kasıyor falan dersen.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Allah Allah. Nereye kayboldu çalışanlar? Bilgisayar var burada. Ah, kapadım. Kapattım.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Kardeşim biz gamer'ız, biz bakarız sağa sola. Sana ne? Anlatıcı. Allah Allah. Biz gamer'ız kardeşim. Elektrik yakmasın. Bunları kapatalım. Bu da mı kapalı? Bütün kapılar kapalı. Meeting office burası herhalde. Dur bakayım, adam dediğini dinleyelim diyeceğim de. Giriş yok. Burası açık mı? Burası kapalı. Aha. Böyle kahvesini dökmüş. Burası açılmıyor. Burası açılmıyor. Burası da açılmıyor.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ha. Önce adamın dediğini mi uygulasak acaba? Neyse, adamın dediğini uygulayalım önce. Bir kapı açılmıyor arkadaş ya.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Masada bir şeyler varmış, şifreler. Herhangi bir şifre yok. Yapılacaklar sinerji. A global market shift, monetize free to play. Free to play ne lan? Free to play yalanını burada mı planlıyorsunuz ha? İnsanların parasını sömürmeye utanmıyor musunuz? Zıplama var mı oyunda? Yok, sadece yürüyor. Aa, açıldı.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Burada hiçbir şey olmadığına emin olana kadar
There was nothing here. No
çıkmıyorum.
choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Bak, bu adam bir şeylerden işkillendirdi beni. Burada bir şeyler var.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As
Aynen.
it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ya bulursam?
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Sana ayar
Please offer
oldum.
me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Sana sinir oldum. Sana sinir oldum kardeşim. Sana ne ya? Bu hikayeyi ben yönlendireceğim.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. but it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Yani. Birader.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Kardeşim sana ne? Sana ne, sana ne? Ben gamer'ım. Ben her
Stanley
şeyi
was fat
kurcalarım.
and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ne oldu? Zoruna mı gitti? Zoruna mı
Well, I've
gitti?
come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Madem bu kadar bir şey yok burada, niye o kadar çene döküyorsun kardeşim? Harbiden yok demek ki. Sana inat durdum burada işte o kadar.
Second player, it's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
Çok güzel.
Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to.
Anandır lan maymun.
Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Sinirlenmiyor artık. Hadi hadi kızma, hadi gidelim hadi. Kızma hadi.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Hadi seni dinleyeyim, hadi gel patronun ofisine çıkalım.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Nasıl yükseklik lan?
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Önce yine etrafı kurcalayacağız.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was
2845 biliyorum, tamam sus. Buralarda bir şey yok. Aha. Aa pardon.
2845.
Çantası da burada mı? 2845.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Peki. Vay vay vay, patronun özel odası ha? Okey. Bakalım patronumuz neler karıştırıyor.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Çünkü rutinin bozuldu. Çok düşünmene gerek yok ki, cevap basit. Rutinin bozuldu Stanley.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Allah Allah. Escape mi?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Güveniyorum lan sana.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Sana güveniyorum lan ses. Allah bak. Sinir ettim ama güveniyorum sana.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Harbiden lan, neresi burası acaba? Kameraları çalıştırın.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Bizi izliyorlardı. Diğer elemanlar nerede? Hiçbiri gözükmüyor. ...84, 85, 86, 104 kovulmuş. 2, 3, 4 karanlık. Benim numaram kaçtı? 247 miydi benimkisi? 247 nerede abi? 5 47 employee 47, bak orada yazıyor. Employee. Fired. Bak şurada. Şu fired'ları ezberleyeyim, belki bana bir şey yapar. Bazılarında da siyah ekran var. Garip. 601 fired. 104 ve 601 fired abi.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Olabilir.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
Olabilir,
someone
niye
else's
reddedeyim canım?
control? Never. It was
Olabilir.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Olabilir.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Olabilir.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Niye peki? Beş, 3 nerede? 3, 4 nerede? Aha 4 de yukarıda. Acaba bir şey mi gireceğim? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gireceğim ama bakalım çalışacak mı? Beş de şurada çıkışta. Bakalım çalışacak mı? Yani hayır. Masadakileri kurcalasak. Bu ne? Konsol disable. Kabada kitle. Nereden geçiyoruz? Burada da bir kapı var. Buradan bas açılsın işte. Tuş var, basılmıyor. Allah Allah. Kapı açılmıyor. Nasıl açılmıyor? O zaman buraya yere indi burası. Niye böyle oldu? Garip. Facility power, buraya gireceğiz, anlaşıldı. CMD gibi komut mu gireceğiz? Okay.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Night control off mu yapacağız, on mu yapacağız? Off yapalım.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Bilmem.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Dünya gerçek mi? Gerçeğe benziyor.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Kurtardık Stanley'i. Ama tabii cevapları öğrenemedik. İnsanlar nerede? Nereye kayboldular? Onları bilmiyorduk ve başa geri döndük. Hadi bir tura daha çıkalım o zaman.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okey, hızlıca devam ediyoruz.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office, because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Ne işareti? Ne oldu lan? Mouse. Ah! Bilgisayar açıldı. Ama kullanamıyorum. Bunlar hiçbir zaman açılmayacak herhalde.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bu sefer soldakinden mi gidelim, sağdakinden mi gidelim? Soldakine devam edelim ya. Ama soldakilerde yapmadıklarımıza bir bakalım. Birkaç bir şeye merak ettim sayılır.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find a... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Teşekkür ederim. Tamam, yapacaklarımı yaptım. Hadi gidelim.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
O escape'e gidersem öleceğim değil mi? O escape yazısına.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss, Stanley, was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Ne? Ha siktir git aç şu kapıyı ya. Pezevenk. Müzik dinletme bana. Hayır. Ya sen...
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Hey. Lan ya. Lan anlatıcı, lan anlatıcı. Bu sefer escape'e gideceğim. Kendimi öldürteceğim büyük ihtimalle. Ama görmek istiyorum. Nasıl ölüyor gerçekten? Korkunç bir şekilde ölüyor muyuz?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Hadi bakalım. Nasıl bir vahşi ölümle
The
karşılaşacağız?
door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Nereye atladık lan? Korkunç bir ölüm dedi. Sonsuza kadar düşecek miyiz? Böyle bir ölüm mü acaba?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Hoşça kal. Hayır.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Aa, ölmedim. Ah.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Ölmedim lan. Nereye gidiyoruz?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Geldiğim yolları gösteriyor. Vay vay vay. Burada ne resimleri var? Nature paintings. Tasarlanmış mı yani bizim hayatımız? Office. Buton sounds. Yapımcılar adını koymuş buraya. Peki kendi bilgisayarımızla bir şeyler yapabiliyor muyuz? Yazılmıyor. Ha, bu bilgisayar tekrar açıldı. Siz niye açıldınız lan tekrar? Sol tarafa bir bakalım, ne var burada? More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer. More Stanley, less yaka. Bunda bir yol var. Warzone ne alakalı? Gerçek yapımcının notu mu acaba bu, yoksa oyunun trollü açısından mı? Ve Türkçesi keşke bu yazıları da çevirseymiş. Ramon Montgomery Jones. What do the lights in the control room do? Some questions. How do you make a Japan RPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What's the difference between? Değişmesene lan. Konuşuyorsun. Çıkmak istiyorum buradan. Bu kadar detay ilgimi çekmiyor. Öldürün beni. Ah.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you
Oyunu mu
see?
kapattı lan?
Can you see how much they need one another?
Kimin?
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Kimin ulan,
Listen to
kimin?
me. You can still save these two.
Ne?
You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now, it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Kadının dediğini dinledim. Komple çık mı demişti bana acaba?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Çıkmasa mıydım acaba?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Aç lan burayı. Burası benim özel odam. Aç burayı. Ahta çakmış şerefsiz ya.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Adam da sıkıldı burayı anlatmaktan. Şimdi o yoldan gideceğim ama kapatmayacağım mind control sistemi. Bakalım ne olacak. Ne olacak?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Var o gücümüz var, merak etme delikanlı.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
Olabilir.
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Şimdi göreceğiz.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated.
Evet.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you
söyle.
exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock. Okay. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Nükleer bombayla yok mu olduk gerçekten? Şaka yapıyorsun. Ana, harbiden yok etti lan bize. Vay pezevenk anlatıcı. Yo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
En başa sarmadı.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Haber aşağı.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All
beni
because
anlatıyor.
he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment, for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a
Bence
dream.
rüya değil Stanley.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Uçuyorum.
And it too appeared.
Rüya
It was
gerçekten.
so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself
Bakalım
being
kafayı
considered by
yedirecek mi?
Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So
Ispatla
he
Stanley.
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress
Tabii
on his
rüya
back,
değil mi?
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
Her şey çok güzel olacak.
Everything will be fine.
Ekrem İmamoğlu.
I am okay.
Ha, bok okey. Sıçtın. Rüya değil Stanley.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? And everything went black.
Karardı.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Dün bayıldı yani. Geberdi. Oha. Delirdi ve öldü. Hayalmiş yani, hepsi rüyaymış. Hmm. Diğer sonlar? Garip. İyi, bir dahaki bölümde sağdaki kapının sonlarını deneriz. Ondan sonra da daha fazla kurcalamayı sevgili YouTube. Bitirsem mi ya? Devam etsek mi acaba? Bitirelim ya. İkinci bölümde onu çözeriz. Videoyu beğenmeyi, kanala abone olmayı, yorum atmayı ve görüşlerinizi aşağılarda belirtmeyi unutmayın efendim. Onun haricinde videoyu paylaşarak daha fazla kişiye ulaşmama yardımcı olabilirsiniz sizlerle birlikte. Onun haricinde Twitch TV/artech4 adresinde canlı yayınlardayım. Hepinizi canlı yayınlara bekliyorum. Şimdilik benden bu kadar. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşça kalın ve iyi oyunlar.